Welcome back to another episode of Lancescurv. Look at the title. Sodom and Gomorrah pales in comparison to America's decadence. Growing up in the church, I'm not ashamed to say that. As a matter of fact, let me just say something. Let me get off the topic while I just started. As a matter of fact, I'll say it this way. Listen, you've seen me talk about the black church in America like a dog. It doesn't mean that everybody there is a bad person, okay? But if you look at the level of decadence in the black community in America in comparison to Sodom and Gomorrah, all right? You'd be better off in church. You should have stayed there. You'd be better off. We always had decadence in the church. But there was some kind of accountability and shame. There was shame. Oh, you can't let brother so-and-so see you walking around in that dress. He won't want to marry you. Even the tutti fruities, they kept it undercover. Even though, I'll say it this way, the tutti fruities that I knew personally, that you would never know were that way, they were dying from HIV/AIDS back in the day. But at least they had some thin membrane of accountability. But now, black people in America, you have lost your minds. Renee Green, welcome on in. They have lost their minds. They are acting like there are no diseases out there. They're acting like there's nothing out there. And they're going after it with an intensity, like they have a death wish. I mean, what is wrong with y'all? Listen, why am I talking about this today? Well, the reason why I'm talking about this today is because I've been hearing and seeing different videos speaking about the high HIV rate in Houston. But that may be Houston, but it's all over the country. It's all over America. But it's really bad. I'm not here to give you statistics. Well, Lance, that's a bad way to prepare for a show. No, this is more of an emotional rant, cerebral questioning. I'll let the other guys do that. There are times I do that, but there's so much information out there. And I don't understand how we can be out there doing what we do. Now, what do I mean specifically? Now, first, let me just say that this particular rant is not a rant on the gay community. Now, you all know, gay community who follows me, because there are many of you who follow me, and I'm like that older uncle who says, well, I'm not really approving what you do. I think it's wrong, but I love you. I love my black people. I love all of you all, right? That's just not my thing. We all got our little Rubik's Cube and our little puzzles and crossword puzzles to figure out in this life. We're all handed a certain hand out of the deck of cards of life, right? And it's up to us to figure it out. If I peek over your shoulder and see that you're dealing with this or dealing with that, whether you think it's right or wrong, look, I know what my right or wrong is. You know what your right or wrong is. You know what's wrong, but you still might be doing it. But I'm not attacking nobody no more. But I'm going to reflect my feelings. And I'm going to say this. It's all of you. All of you. All of you black people have lost your damn minds. Do not complain about racism. Do not complain about homelessness. Do not complain about joblessness. Do not complain about these demons out here, because you have become the manifestation of demonic entities out here more than anything else. Why? Well, in Houston, the numbers are off the chain of people who are having unprotected sex, and HIV/AIDS is at an all-time high. And I think for all the black communities in America, they are spearheading the numbers. Yet, so many folks are running down there, and I can understand why. Houston is a nice place. Does that mean you have to be swapping crotch sauce with other people? No. I was down there in 2022 times, one time for a week and another time for 2 weeks. And I had a wonderful time. But it didn't include anything like that. See, if we can control ourselves and think before we make the leap, before we wrap somebody else's legs around our head, we'll be better off. But I will say, straight up, this is demonic. Oh, here he goes again, talking about this is demonic and the spirits and these ghouls. No. Look, and these people who are out there doing stuff and they know they have HIV, they know they have AIDS, and they're still doing stuff unprotected and giving it away to other people, you got a special place in hell to burn. Burn, baby, burn. No, seriously. And the people who are out there just casually moving around, men and women, and don't think it's just the gay men, straight men. You see a woman, she looks good, you want to run up inside of her. You want to use the head of your penis to check her tonsils, and she's willing to do it. And you don't even know her name. You don't even know where she lives. You don't even know nothing about her. You get drunk, you go to the clubs, you hang out. What do you think it's all about? What do you think it's all about? Yeah, you have the gold diggers out there. You got the players out there, but you got these switch hitters out here. Look, it's general knowledge that way back in the day, what was it, 1979, when they found this thing, they didn't know what it was. And I believe they called it Kaposi sarcoma, something like that. I remember in 1979, what was I? I was 17. I turned 17 years old. No, I was 16. Yeah, I was 16. Born in 63, right. 16 years old, and I'm seeing this thing go around. And I remember back then, there was some weirdo looking people back then. I remember back then hanging out in Manhattan, which included the whole borough, in which I wasn't scared to go into Greenwich Village because there are a lot of homosexual men. That wasn't my thing. I love the restaurants down there. I love the women down there who wanted a sigh of relief from all the guys who were hetero hawking them all the time. And I met a lot of women down there. And it was laid back and nobody was pressuring me. These guys didn't bother nobody. They could tell. They got gaydar. They can tell. But it was chill. But I remember seeing, and I hate to say it this way. No, I don't. It's a fact of what I saw. I'm not going to stop saying that. I'm not trying to say whatever. But it was a lot of white men who you knew were gay. Well, how do you know that I was gay? What does gay look like? Listen, the way you walking on the street and you, come on, we know. Even if you're flaming a little bit, you can pick up on it. And I knew this because when I went to the High School of Art and Design, that's all you had in there. And check this out. When I was in the High School of Art and Design, there was a 5th floor bathroom out of the 6 floors that was called the gay bathroom. The gay bathroom from way back in a high school. The principal, all of them signed off on this. That way they couldn't be bothered. If you were gay, you can go to any bathroom you wanted to, because if you're going to take a dump, you're going to take a leak, and you're on the 1st floor, you can't hold it to the time you get to the 5th floor. But that was their place where nobody would harass them. They were looking out for them way back then because they had parents who were very influent. Oh my God. Am I awake all the way? Affluent. Look, I deserve a mistake every now and then. There's a place called Sutton Place on the east side, the very east side, in the 50s. I don't know if it goes up to the 60s or the 40s, but I know in the 50s, right there, Art and Design was on 57th Street, and it still is, in 2nd Avenue in Manhattan, Midtown Manhattan, on the east side. And if you go there, we had a teacher who rode her bike from where she lived on Sutton Place. And she was a teacher. And was like, well, how do you afford to live in Sutton Place? No, them places over there are really expensive. Thousands and thousands of dollars just to rent out over there. If you owned it, you better be a multimillionaire. But she used to ride her bike. And I heard she had a very wealthy husband. And they had some people over there who had children who went to that school. So I knew what was going on. So they looked out because they could have sent their child to any other school. But I don't know how I got on that. But what I'm saying is that in the society back then, especially New York City, things were out a little more than a little hick town. And I'm quite sure in Philadelphia or Chicago, Detroit, Miami, Houston, yeah, Houston, right? Dallas, that things were out a little more, right? Other big, Los Angeles, I can go down the list forever, but we know what I'm talking about. But New York City just is always ahead of its time. I don't know about that now. The internet has made it where these major cities and other places, even smaller, mid-sized cities, have caught up in their how they do things and their awareness of things and how things spread. But they're having in Houston now lifestyle parties. Now, if you don't know what a lifestyle party is, it's basically called a swingers party. And it is, look, there are people who don't know these things, and I know these things. I used to explore these worlds. Nothing gay, y'all. Nothing but women in heterosexual situations. But I was nosy. I wanted to see everything when I was young. And being the fact that I was well developed physically, I used to be able to, because of bodybuilding, I used to be able to slip into a lot of these places and be nosy and see. I dealt with a lot of older women. I might have been 16, 17, 18 years old, but I was already, and this is not a brag thing, I'm just telling you the reality of it even back then. And why am I telling you all of this business? Because if it was like that back then, off the chain back then, when AIDS first came out, what are you doing now? See, many people, this generation doesn't even see it like I see it. And I'm speaking to the younger generation now. The reporting on AIDS was front page news damn near every day. And I'm not saying every single day. You saw AIDS. There's a big, and the nuclear whatever going on and all this, political stuff going on. And it was smaller? No. But you always heard about AIDS. And to me, it was very important. Not to me, but I don't want to see any human being die. But the media made it a very important thing where as long as it was a white gay male's disease, we got to talk about it. Because white gay males, whether you know it or not, they run stuff in America, whether they reveal themselves or not. You have the entertainment industry. And I can add on another category of the white gay males, add the people that Kanye West had a problem with. You know what I'm trying to say? And I know that firsthand, right? And I'll tell you why later on. But as long as it was their problem, then they're going to talk about it. But if you notice, and anybody who has a little age on them can look back and see that after a while, that they stopped reporting as much as an epidemic as it has become. And it wasn't any urgency to push. Yes, they had the commercials, they had the clinics, they had the this PrEP thing they have now where you can take it to avoid, getting AIDS of different STDs or STIs, sexually transmitted infections. And then you have sexually transmitted diseases. A disease is different from an infection. There's a lot of ignorance out here, what we don't know. And there is a lot of death wishes on what we don't care to know. But to me, in the 90s, it was still going on. But when we got into the time of social media, which was a gradual change because it was there from the 90s on your computer. Computers is the only way to do it until we got the smartphones that merged with the internet. Once that happened and we had the internet in our hand and we could titillate ourselves, go into different porn sites, go into different social media platforms where people are wiggling and jiggling and titillating, and then you could meet them. Then you had apps. Then all of a sudden it seemed like the coverage of AIDS, HIV, pulled back. More so because now it became a Black problem. It's still everywhere. It's still in all races in America. And I probably want to guess, I don't think you'd argue with me, that it may not be as big a problem in the Asian community. You see? Other community, it may not be. Why did I pick them? Well, we keep ourselves to ourselves. We don't want to mess around with anybody. We're trying to get this money. But we got to be the worst of the worst. Whatever they put out there, we got to grab onto it, no matter how decadent it is, and show the world, no matter what, we can be the best at doing what we do. Well, you know what? You, Black America, and this is not everybody, right? But that slice of people, slice of the population, who have gone crazy, want to do what they do. You have out Sodom and Gomorrah, Sodom and Gomorrah. Let's just make a scenario here. I'm not saying this or this or that, but Sodom and Gomorrah, you know what sodomy is. And again, this is everybody who deals. But you know, basically what they were saying in the Bible is that, you know, it was the gays. You know, they saw the other angels and we want to know them. They offered up their daughters that we don't want no Panani. We don't want no vajayjay. We want that brown eye. We want that new, strange, anonymous, you know, spur of the moment, brown eye. That's what they wanted. You all know what I'm talking about. But to me, to be funny about it, to make a joke, God himself is probably dipping his hands into the pits of hell and saying, and we talk about that mythical on the throne and long beard, but he ain't white, he's black, right? Yes, all of you who are in hell now, suffering now forevermore because of what I said. I have to make an alteration. What's going on earth right now in Houston is so bad that I'm going to give you a second chance. I'm pulling you out of hell because what they're doing now is not as bad. Or what you did back then is not as bad as what they're doing now. Releasing demons from hell. No, but seriously, they didn't get around that fast. Maybe they did, I don't know, but I'll say it this way. They couldn't sit at home with a gadget in their hand and go to websites, go to apps, dating apps. You know, they know who they are, but you had to keep that stuff under wraps. So that made it more explosive, because once you found somebody who was into what you were into, and you knew other people, you know, and then after a while, I guess in Sodom and Gomorrah, it's just all out. But it's just my gut feeling that today, in 2024, and whatever year you hear this, if this is an old video, an old audio, it's got to have gotten worse. The momentum that we're moving with toward this decadence, toward going lower, and I'm going to have to find ways to explain, because I will tell you, me, Lancescurv, I have seen on a sexual level, I have seen with my own eyes everything. Let that sink in for a second. Remember, I grew up in New York City. Doesn't make me any better than anybody else. I knew how to get around. I knew the different clubs, and I knew people. I used to get in places. I wanted to see for myself. I didn't run up at any gay spot. That's not my thing. But still, I saw all of that out in the open, in the streets, during parades and festivities, and it's late at night, and you look between two parked cars, you see what's going on. So I have seen everything. And I tell you, it's like, back then growing up, I said, there ain't no more to see. Ain't nothing new, ain't nothing more than I can see. Maybe more multiple partners that I've saw indulging with each other, right? But there's nothing I haven't seen. I have seen Sodom and Gomorrah many decades ago with my own eyes. But from what I'm hearing now, and I know that many children may listen to this, it shouldn't be listening to certain things, but maybe the youngsters should, to know that this thing is engineered now. It's off the chain, and we need to pull back and stop what we're doing if you really love life. You're on fire. And there are things aside from what I feel is a spiritual thing, a demonic thing, driving you out of your mind, and then you wake up one day sick. And you say, what the hell was I doing? Because let me tell you something. I've had my explorations with women. Of course, that's what it is for me, because I'm hetero. And I can't say it was not pleasurable. But I'll tell you this much, to keep it decent. After years of exploring these things, the pleasure factor diminished more and more. The wilder you are, after a while, you're going to need to get wilder in order to feel the same rush and sensations. I know that for a fact. So these people, like crackheads, and I hate to say the word like that, but we get to the point here. When you do crack, that first high, they say, because I don't know, I've never smoked crack, is the one that like is the ultimate. It blows your mind enough to have you so hooked that you're chasing that high. Hopefully not, but for many, for the rest of your life. For the rest of your life. And they say the crack high is more intense than sex and an orgasm. How it hits the pleasure center of your brain. Look, I don't want nothing like that. But why I say it's a spiritual thing, and I've said this on other shows before, and if I sound redundant, please bear with me for those who know me for years, because you know how they hijacked the old channel. You can get me in a room with two other people at gunpoint. The two other people are on their knees, and I'm on my knees, hands behind my head, with guns pointed at us. And there could be people saying, we're not going to kill you, but if you don't smoke this crack, we're going to kill you. And the other people say, oh, no, I'm not doing it. Boom! And I see them get their heads blown off. The next one, I'm not doing it. Brains all over the place. Now I'm the one left. I want to live. I don't want crack, but I want to live. And I know this thing is not going to hook me. Oh, yeah, Lance, that's what you say. Well, at gunpoint, I try to bluff it, not inhale, but they put the gun to my head. I feel the cold metal. I know it just happened. Do it. You got 5 seconds. And I inhale. And I feel what it is that they say to them. Oh, my God. This thing, oh, my God, I can see why. But you know what? They put the gun down. They didn't cause me to be one who's hooked on crack, because my character is too strong. And I'm not saying anybody else is too weak, but I know the pleasure of a wholesome life. I know the pleasure of a sunrise. I know the pleasure of a sunset. I know the pleasure of a good meal. I know the pleasure of being fatigued beyond measure and going to bed and finally being able to sleep and wake up and to be able to lay there for 20 or 30 minutes to say, wow, I'm so excited because this is a brand new day. I know those pleasures. There is no leaks or gaps inside of me for something to slip in. I'm not saying I'm better than anybody else, but I do say this. I will say that I know the pleasure of being with women and multiple women for years and years and years. I'm not bragging. I'm telling you what it is. It's the same thing. So if one thing don't get you, something else just might. And this thing is not just a chemical thing. It's a spiritual thing. And we are so foolish that we can't settle down with one person or show some control. King Hazy, Only Haze YouTube channel. Welcome on in. I had my eyes closed. I was sitting here just going off. Sorry if I didn't acknowledge you fast enough. And I know over in the East Coast it's a little early, but I said, you know what? In the whole country, actually, right? America, me being in West Africa now. But I said, let me just get up and knock something out early. And I want to say one thing also, too. What time is it now? It's for me, it's 10:24. For the East Coast, it's 6:24. So in an hour and 35 minutes, we have a young lady who's coming on live, and she's going to speak about her witchcraft experience, and she's in Tanzania, right? And she does have a YouTube channel. Let me see what it is. Since I'm saying it, I put it on the banner. I made the banner, but I didn't make you won't see it. I didn't make the link yet. You know, Diaspora Connect Tanzania. That is a YouTube channel. I don't know if I'm at liberty to say her actual name. I'll ask her on the show, but we're going to do that live, and she's ready. Okay, I just didn't make the link yet. I want to bang out 2 before I leave this house. That's right. Had not the sun's early rising crew today. and Renee Green. And I see Depo's expat said something, but it was in the wee hours after I made this link. Alvin, welcome on in. Oh, Alvin, brother, the comments that you make, brother. You have so much life experience in the way you speak it. Every time you make a comment and I read it, I'm gonna tell a joke and twist it. Every time I read a comment that you make, I'm disappointed. Do you know why? Because it's never long enough. One day, brother, if you're up to it, I would love to have a conversation on the show. You don't have to say yes or no right now, but you're always welcome. I just want to say that officially, shouting it out from the mountaintops. That would mean, I've learned so much from you. See, I'm not one of those guys, oh, I'm Lancescurv, and I got this show, and I know everything. No, I'm humble. I'm a servant. I like to just create content to make people think. But brother, you, and all of the people here in their own ways, but I had to acknowledge you. While we're both here on this earth alive, I don't want any doubt in your mind how highly I think of you on that level. The knowledge and information you have and the way you serve it is exemplary. I just have to say that. But like I was saying, I think about this thing. One factor is that it's not pushed out there as much. I've been knowing about this thing for a long time. I can say over 40 years. I don't know if I'm fading in or out. Yes, Alvin, I'm glad. Yes, we will. You know my contact information. I saw that it looked like my let me know if you can still hear me. Anyway, just say yes. Whoever can type in, if you can hear me. Because I saw my other screen, because I have two other computers. I'm not letting this thing knock out with power. I just want to keep it. It looks like everything is still going through. All right. Just let me know if you can hear me. I might have to type that inside if you don't. So let me type this in. Let me go to the chat room and type this in. Just say, can you hear me? All right. Okay, great. Alvin got the yes in there. And now the comments going to come through. That just took a little delay. Thank you so much. But we have moved away from traditions, culture, connectedness. We have had it so bad. And this is not to whine and say, oh, we had it so bad. We had it so bad. Okay, thank you so much. And if for some reason I black out, just put it in the, we don't hear you, Lance. We can't hear you or whatever. Because, until I get Starlink is coming to West Africa. Well, it's already here. But they say in the third quarter of the year that it will be available. And I registered for it and everything. And then you get those unlimited downloads directly from the satellite. So I'll be, right now, it's this internet sucks. But it works for me better because I'm on top of the mountain. But anyway, just like they said back in the day, the 60s, 50s, 40s, the majority of Black families had parents that were married. And even in the South, where they said they had common law, they didn't have a piece of paper, that was still good because they were committed to each other. Now, and I always pick on the feminist movement and how a lot of Black women jumped in on that, the welfare system, you can't have a man in the house, media going against the Black family, everything else being promoted. And like I have to say, I'm very near and dear, close to someone who is in the entertainment world, and I'll just say it that way, in the epicenter of it. So I can't really say too much because our close relationship can't be public. There's nothing funny-duddy, right? Nothing, I'm messing around with her, whatever, but she's my sister. And from what I'm learning, they're using, and we know this who have sense. I'm saying this for the younger folks or folks who don't realize it, that the entertainment industry is weaponized against us. And we soak this stuff up and we run with it. I want to say so much more, but I can't. I cannot get specific. But this is a global reach now where they're requiring people who produce these movies to, if you want to have the influence of America and the reach that America has, you better have a rainbow character up in that bad boy to make it normal for the younger folks. Look, anybody who has a couple decades under them and goes back, do you remember the first time you saw two women or two men tugging each other down? Maybe you never saw that. But it was a shock. Like, oh, snap. But two dudes holding hands. I mean, not like it was a father and a son or like, and still you double check, like, hey, well, what's the, oh, okay. That's a grown man, that's his older father. You know what I mean? That's what, but they usually ain't gonna hold hands walking down the street. You know what I mean? So now we know in society, if you saw two women, hi, honey, how you doing? Mwah, mwah, on the cheek, that's kind of normal. You go down to the Latin world, you know, the women kiss each other. Oh, I miss you so much, Poppy. Not Poppy, but you know, even with the men, they kiss, 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 kiss. You go to the corner store. Listen, I'll be back. I'm just going to the corner store. Okay, bye-bye. You come back. Oh, good to see you. That's the culture. But we were shocked to see that. You know what? What about these young teenagers? There's no shock. Oh, they're just gay. They're just this. Again, I'm not knocking anybody. I'm talking about society overall. Even gay and lesbians, you got to know I'm talking up straight now. I'm talking what it is. Because our people are dying. They're getting on up out of here. And it's no good. I'm not going to blame just the media for not covering things as intensely as they should. But we are dying out here like a war. It is a war. It's engineered. And we're running with it. We're running out on a field full of minefields, just having a game of tossing a frisbee. Boom! You don't know what's out there. And now, you know, sex is a natural desire. And what did they say? I think it was in the Quran. I heard somebody say it. I don't know. I never read the Quran all the way. I see certain things. I'm going to repeat this. I'm quite sure I've heard other people say it. They say the devil comes to you in the straight path. Right? Yeah, maybe I glitched out because I had to pick up a call, you know, that may have given a glitch. But anyway, the devil comes in a straight path. What does that mean? All things that are natural and good, the devil comes in a straight path and warps it and turns it into something destructive. That's my interpretation of it. Well, you like ice cream? I eat an ice cream. I like more the, you know, the ice, but no dairy. And I've still done dairy. I slipped and had some recent not too long ago. It was just too good. But I controlled myself. So when the devil comes in the straight path, it's like, hey man, you can go ahead and have a second, third, fourth, fifth. Go buy a couple 5 gallons and bring it home and sit up in front of the TV all night. Just eat ice cream. You keep doing that, your health is going to be compromised. Now, when it comes to sexuality, I'm going to speak as a single man. I'm not a single man, but I'm going to speak from that mindset because if I say something, y'all know I'm married. You all know who Mr. Scurv is. Don't come with the emails and text. Ooh, you talking like that, and you got Mr. Scurv. But that's disrespectful. I got to talk the talk. I wasn't always married. Come on now. For those who don't know me, or know me a little bit, Here it is. I like women. If the devil came to me in the straight path, as he has, symbolically, well, I like that one over there, and I like that one over here. Oh, and that one over there. Well, you know what? I want all of them. I didn't say that consciously. I just couldn't say no. And I had my years of being wild and off the chain. I was intelligent. I knew what I was doing. My mind was twisted in a way where I didn't think what I was doing was wrong, even though I knew it was wrong. And just like the same time that you'd see two homosexual men kissing and you were shocked, when I had a girlfriend and stepped out on her and was dealing with another woman secretly, when I kissed that next woman, I was shocked at myself. I knew what I was doing. I knew what I wanted to do, but there was still a side of me saying, oh man, you know what you're doing is wrong. And I went with it. And I got more and more numb to what was right and what was wrong. Even though it was bugging me in my mind, it was bugging me less and less and less as I got more and more on fire. Then there's a third woman, then a fourth woman, then them two women who were dealing with each other who invited me over. Then I had a girlfriend who was like that. Then I was at home doing stuff. Friends of mine, oh man, you living the life. I'm so happy to say I never ever caught an STD, AIDS, HIV, anything, and I didn't always play safe because that's the gay male disease. So, and look, I'm being straight up to those who may think that, oh, this is some old guy, he don't know what it's like. Listen, I don't care how young you are, you probably never did the things I did. And again, I'm not bragging about that. I'm just trying to reach some people. You think this stuff is new? How you think we got here? You look at the old corny books and things from back in the 1800s, and they were doing it then. I'm not saying they were as decadent as we are now. So now we have become so numb to things because it's been normalized, weaponized and normalized. So there's no shock anymore. You can do what you want to do, and it's encouraged. Like I've said before, I couldn't believe it when I got my hands on some magazines and the things I saw and learned. You got videos? Tap here if you're under 18. They ain't tapping that. If you are over 18, proceed. A little 12-year-old finger, hit and proceed. That's not any good way to ensure that certain things don't get into people's hands. At least not parents, or maybe the father or uncle or older brother had enough nerve to say, you know what? I'm going to hide my magazines between the mattress and the box spring. Everybody was doing that back then. But these days, the way we are titillated, stimulated, and then many of us, I'm not saying all, but many who have come from a broken family without the structure may have a void inside of them that they think, and not consciously, but they think or feel that I feel empty inside. They don't know why now. But this thing feels good. And now, for a lot of young ladies, and I'm not excusing the men, I'm going to come around to them, but for a lot of our sisters who may not have had a father figure or a good father figure in their life, a good father, he could be a body who's just there paying bills and nondescript, not affecting you. But that void that comes from not having that father most likely will bug you, and you get older and you see men who are attracted to you because of your body or your look, even when you think that you don't have any looks, or maybe you're low self-esteem a little bit. I'm not attacking anybody. I'm just saying what I've seen. I've never gone to school for this. I'm just saying what I've seen. A fool can give you great directions if he knows the streets well enough. I'm not saying I'm a fool now. But it feels good when that man tells you, oh, You look so nice in that dress. See, they come so innocent. They don't say, oh, I just want to use you as a glorified friction provider. And I want to just move on after a night or two or whenever I want to see you. And now this thing feels so good and it melts you. And depending on how severe it is and how severe the esteem issue might be, there may not be an esteem issue there, but there may be that void where it feels good when a man says something to you in a complimentary sense. And you give in. But that void is not gone. And so you give in again and again and again. Some don't go that far. But I'm just saying how these things can start from that level. Then you have the other school of thought where, well, as long as I'm getting paid, if that's all they want from me, I need to get money. That's a whole different thing, but you can put that in there too. You don't hear about the dangers of HIV/AIDS as much. That's something older folks get. They ain't hip like us. Sex feels good. I might be broke. You know, that's another thing too. People don't talk about the economic thing. You're sitting there pinching pennies. You're a man, you have a woman. Let's paint a picture. Let's go to the projects. I'm not picking on people in the projects. I'm just talking about something that we all know. You might be in the projects. You might get a check. You might have limited income as a woman. Your man might just have gotten out of prison. He doesn't have much going for him. You're both are broke at the moment, right? You're sitting around looking at each other. You got enough food. You got that bootleg cable, but you don't have much to spend. You ain't going out. You're not buying a new outfit, whatever. You're kind of living on a hopeless. You're still alive. You have enough, but not enough to start, or not in you to dream and say, you know what, we can go beyond this. So you're sitting up looking at each other. It's raining bad outside. And that's your man, but you heard from the other sisters out there that he got other women out there, but you're not trying to hear that right now. You feeling him right now. It's raining bad outside. You're broke. Ain't got no time to go get no condom. Hey, girl, you looking pretty good. You should come over here. Let's cuddle up a little bit. Watch this TV. All right, no problem. Ain't no condoms around. You know he might be messing around. You know you're very fertile right now, but that has nothing to do with it. You are working out all of your frustrations of not having any money, of maybe being a little hopeless in your life as far as what life could be. And that session on the couch, an eventual bedroom, is all you know. And you doing it to him and he doing it to you. And that's all I'm going to say. But you're swapping fluids like crazy. You're a little intoxicated and you're going all out. You are, I'm not going to say. We'll keep it a certain way. You all know. And afterward, you feel good, but then you still feel empty. See, there's a lot involved. You have the man now. He never got attention from many women. He got some attention, but he was basically a nerd. And let me tell you something. Nerds, real nerds, they are happy campers right now because they're glad right now that they never had those opportunities and never was wild. And look, they happy. I say to all the young men out here, try to be a nerd. If you're a nerd, stay that way. You're not missing anything. You're putting yourself ahead of the pack. But then we have that nerd who wanted to know what it was like. He's been studying. He went to school, went to college, got certificates, whatever it was. Worked a job, has some kind of career, maybe a business. But he never got the attention that the jocks in the high school got. But now he has a little money. Now he's been going to the gym, lost a little weight, but he's not comfortable approaching women. But women now see that he has some value and they approach him. And now, just like that woman who may have been overweight and nobody looked at her, and she lost weight now, and not that all do this, but many of them go wild. They go wild with the attention that they never had. It's an intoxicant to them. There are many reasons to put you on the precipice of going crazy with this thing called sex. But it doesn't mean you can't have the strength to resist losing your mind and going off. I know what certain things are like. And I'm going to tell you, at the moment, it was a rush. It felt damn good. And it was also, I never had power and control issues with women, but it's a rush. You know, you got 2 or 3 women at the crib waiting for you. You run out to the store to get something. You looking at everybody like, y'all just don't know what I got waiting for me. But that's being young and stupid. But the sad part is that so many of us are older and supposedly mature and damn stupid. And the only reason why a lot of y'all old cats out here don't do stuff is because you overcooked the pasta, if you know what I mean. You know, it ain't al dente anymore. Your noodle is too soft, and we have something for that too, Viagra. So we have a lot of people with extended sex lives on a wonton level, trying to make up for what they never had, or their low self-esteem, and the spiritual inoculation of decadence and demonic possession, because that's what it was, and that's what it is. It causes you to see reality different than what it really is. Look at the attractive ladies on this banner. Do you know what they really look like? You see the physicality, but do you really know what they look like? I'm not coming against them and saying, all the women are demons, it's their fault because they have these nice bodies. God made those bodies, right? God made those bodies. But it's used and hijacked. Like a dude who was minding his business, going about on a Saturday morning doing his little chores and stuff, going to Home Depot, going to Walmart, picking up things, and going to the nursery for some plants, whatever. He jumps out of his car to look at some plants. Somebody else jumps in his car, not just to steal it, but to get away from the cops that are chasing him, that are blocks away. So his car is stolen now. There are a lot of young ladies and young men who drop their guard and let an experience allow something in that felt good, but now their lives are hijacked, and you see their bodies, but their bodies are hijacked and compromised by demonic forces. But they still have to have accountability, because you know what's going on. You have a chance to decide. I'm not saying, well, it's not them, it's just a demon in them. No, you better be accountable. But the intoxication of these sexual encounters, whether it's one woman or 2 women, or with women, it could be whatever, anything. But my thing is how quick people, and I have to be careful with my words. I mean, I can go all out and say it, but I still, this early in the morning, I don't want to. The things that they are doing now, they've done, I've seen it. Some things I've done. A lot of things that, with women, there's nothing I haven't done that they didn't want me to do. You know what I mean? They didn't, no, don't do that. No, they never did it. No, try it out. Oh, I love that. Let's do it again. But they may not have been full-fledged relationships, but I knew that. These days, there are people who are meeting each other, and they are doing things that married couples haven't got to doing after 15, 20 years of marriage. Oh, I never did that to my husband. Oh, I never did. We're not really into what? I've seen it. I've seen people walk through the door at a lifestyle party, whether it's a public situation, which is worse, or it's all bad, or a private inner circle situation. Meet somebody. I'm going to say it this way. Meet somebody. And within 10 minutes of meeting the person, they have French kissed this person who they don't even know their name all the way right. I'll say it this way. You're going to like how I say it. They have French kissed or tongue kissed both ends of their digestive system within 10 minutes of meeting the person. Now, if you can't figure that out, what? How do they do that? That's that spirit. Look, the marriage bed is undefiled. If you choose to do that within your marriage, Fine. You're committed, you're monogamous. Fine. You can do all the things you want to do. All the things you want to do. As long as you're not forcing somebody. But that's too corny. People want to be independent contractors with their genitals. They want to put themselves out on the open market because if this one felt good, that, look at that one. That one's different. Oh, look at that. Look, it's not that you crave these bodies. You're draining yourself physically. You're draining yourself mentally. You're draining yourself spiritually. And when you're spiritually drained, there's more room for more demons to come on in and occupy the runaway train, out of control person that you've become. And because you're looking for that rush that you had when you did something that you knew was sinful. But I never did this before. The categories that they have in these movies. And I'll tell you, me and my buddies, back in the 70s, we'd slip up, not slip up, we'd slip in. We do it on purpose. Down in Times Square, you see these adult, movie shops, VHS videos. You just walk in there and just look at things and magazines, and they had all these categories, interracial and threesomes, and like, wow, look at all this. They had the gay section that we weren't interested in that was way in the back, you know what I mean? In a little cubicle. God knows what them guys are doing back there. Oh, you like this? Oh, no, let's swing a little episode back here. But I remember telling my friend, this was back in, I was 15 years old. It never stopped me from going to places like that because I looked like a grown man. My face didn't, but a Kangol and a drawn-on mustache and a stern look would make these little timid Indian guys. We don't want any problems with these guys. He's a big black guy with muscles. Let him go in. But I told him, I said, brother, last year we came here. We here now. There are more categories. Bondage and domination. S&M. That's always been around. I've seen all that stuff too. The ball and the gag. Why they got a big ball and they can't breathe and they got the mask on? All those things. Look, that's more demonic in different ways. That's another show. What I'm saying is that every subsequent year, we had more and more categories of kinks that people were into because one kink leads to another, to another, to another. Again, the marriage bed is undefiled. Have fun. Just like when you bring a dog to the park and you let him go free. Run, knock yourself down while you sit on the bench and read the paper, listen to the ball game on the radio. But out in the world, you running free, you don't know what you're running up on. And again, I wasn't a saint. I'm very blessed. So I have to talk about what I've seen. This is experience now. This is not me reading out of a book. And I'm speaking to everybody, but mainly this younger generation who they have more things to trigger them off. It wasn't a magazine found under a mattress or in a box in the basement for these guys. They can send things to each other. They got all kind of categories with Pornhub and RedTube and what else? I know the sites. I know people in the sex industry, and they send me things. Oh, but you knew her before, right? And yeah, there's things I looked at. It's crazy. Look at the midget with the giant. This dude's 8 foot tall, and this is a midget, but they're 69. But it works. How does that work? Crazy stuff you think. I'm more cerebral. I'm like an old fighter at the fights. In the audience, can't fight no more. I'm not saying I can't do things anymore. I'm just saying I'm retired. But you see what it is that you used to do, and you have the mind to spot what it is. So when you see that old fighter at ringside, well, guess what? You ask his opinion. He was a championship fighter, knew his thing, a defensive wizard, knew how to do, had a couple losses, but he was a champion, and most of it was wins. And you ask him, you say, listen, old fighter telling you, see that fighter, every time he throws a jab, he drops his hand. Now, if that was me as the opponent, I'll kind of lure him in to throw more jabs and time him. So as soon as he hits me with the jab, I'm not waiting. I'm throwing my right over the jab, the hand that drops down. Next couple rounds, boom! He told you. The technician, and he knows it. I've been there and I know it. So now you have more of a craving, and you have picked up the demons of other people, forged soul ties with other people. And now your desire is not contained for one person. It's everybody and anybody, because now you're an open vessel. So when you walk down the street and you look into somebody's eyes that may attract you, those demons connect with your demons, and you find yourself almost immediately in the alleyway. Don't even say nothing, because you know what it is that you're both about. And that's how many people live their lives. I will say, I don't think anybody will argue with me, that gay men for many years, the download brothers and those who are out there with their aggressive sexuality, you get two people, men are aggressive. So if they're into that, these guys can get it easy in that category. But now more and more, it's almost like the heterosexuals. I'm not saying the gay men are more promiscuous. I know some gay dudes, and I'm not with all that. But from what I see, they kind of like stay to themselves. I'm not condoning it or whatever. But now, women are so aggressive now. I'm not blaming them, but they're so aggressive. And you know, men can be quietly aggressive, putting themselves in position. It's happening, y'all. So these categories that were growing from back in the 80s and the 70s, when we would go to those adult bookstores where they showed the movies. And then eventually you can pick up the Betamax or the VHS. We know Beta fell off, even though it was better, clearer. Now the categories you have now, the kinks that people have now, I can't even repeat. I can't even repeat. I'll spell it out. The big thing now is ASS to mouth. Know what I mean by that? There's more of that going on raw. When you play around in that area, it's even more prone to spread things. If you clean and you just with your person and you want to do something and you commit it, go ahead. But different people, you're a man and you're dealing with the back end of a woman's digestive system and not the mouth. You pull out from that area, and there's another woman cleaning you off, and you go back in, and look, people are meeting each other and doing stuff like that and running around, and they don't want to test themselves because they're scared. You damn right you should be scared. Look at what you're doing. Don't cry now. Look, when I drove the bus, oh, Golden Brown, you know exactly what I'm saying. Maybe one day we'll do a conference call conversation where I can just say it. And I'll put it up private, I'll put it up where it's limited, I'll put it up on the Patreon membership page. And I want to say I'm kind of scared now to put stuff on real hardcore stuff on the membership page, because on the YouTube, because YouTube will, we're taking it down and banning your channel. But it's the memberships. I'm really thinking about telling everybody just go to Patreon. We'll have it, and I'm not just going to talk about these things. We're going to talk about other things. But if anybody wants to participate, reach out to me and just say, hey, let's participate in a live show, or let's go to the conference line. Well, how does the conference line work? Let me just take time and say that. You go to Lancescurv.com, the website, whether it's on your phone, on a computer, and as soon as you see the site come up, give it a few seconds, depending on your internet connectivity or where you are, you'll see below the header it says conference line. You tap that, it brings you to another page where you can either call in or just tap it like a link and come in. Do the link thing. Don't call it. It's better because it's like you go into a site. Only when we're going to be there. If you go there now, nobody's there. But I might have certain designated times where I'll start putting it out like, oh, next Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we're going to have a conference call about this. And I'm going to put the title. You're like, oh my God. And there'll be no holding back. But that conversation will never be seen on YouTube. It might be SoundCloud or something like that or whatever, and I'll make the link available. If you want to participate, we do that. We can have some off-the-chain, uncensored conversations. It doesn't have to be just once a week. You can tap me on the shoulder like, Lance, I'm off next Tuesday night. What are you doing? I'm like, nothing. Most of the time, I got stuff to do, realistically. A lot of stuff to do. But I'm in control of my time. So I'll do it. We'll do it. Get some people up. Let's talk. Co-workers, friends. We can go to this thing and have a discussion, a group discussion. I'd love that. That's what I pay for the conference line every month for. I haven't been using it that much. I'm going to be aggressive with it. And if I get on it, there's nobody there, I'm going to talk by myself and put it up. You'll be like, yo, I missed a good conversation on monologue. But right now, and I can only speak as a man, but this goes both ways, for the women to the men to the women. A lot of these guys who are decent, who are looking and open for a wife, oh man, you might have a long journey. This is not every woman, but there are a lot of men who fancy a particular woman. Says, I want to get to know her. I see potential. I respect her. She's intelligent. She carries herself very ladylike. And you get to know her. But maybe you don't know her all the way. She sees you as a good guy and thinks, well, I can settle down with this guy, but I can live a double life. You see, there's a lot of women living double lives. And just like we said, how gay men can, for some reason, to going out and having more opportunity with what they do, women, shoot, women, they can be on that time of the month fighting back diarrhea with morning breath and rollers in their hair in the supermarket. I don't know why they would want to go to the supermarket at that time, with stuff in the corner of their eye, and there's going to be some dude who's like, damn girl. You see what I mean? So they got opportunities and they can live a double life, but they might want to settle down and have the facade and use you as a beard, which is usually a term. You're the beard that covers that gay activity in your mate. So if you have a man who's down low and you are married to him, you don't know it, but you're the beard. If you're a man who's married to a lesbian or dealing with a lesbian who doesn't want the world to know, they will use you as a cover-up because you both look so well as a couple. But she ain't really into you. She'll throw you a little bit of something, but she really into that for JJ. And there are a lot of down low women out here. I ain't knocking nobody, but I'm just saying you're going to have to face the consequences of your actions. And right now, it's all going down. You think they got they recently had a lifestyle party in Atlanta. Atlanta? Yo, let me say it this way. Houston, to me, is like the new Atlanta, but worse. Now, Atlanta is worse and still worse with everything. But look, what's happening to us as Black people? What if we rewired ourselves and refocused ourselves on being connected, on having common goals, even though we're not monolithic? Why is so much put into sex, sex, sex? What is that doing for you? That's the only system in the human body that you don't need to utilize, but you'll still live, even though you may feel you're going crazy. Sex, sex, sex. All these diseases out here. Would you walk out in the street in the middle of a shootout? Well, that's what you're doing with your body when you go out there and do all these things. I don't care. Well, she ain't look like she ain't have nothing, or he ain't look like he. Look, you know how women, you know how, look, I got to do a show on this explicit because I'm holding myself back. You know how many, I'm going to say it this way. When your man comes home and you want to greet him because you love him so much, on your knees, not to pray. And he comes in and you say, he's such a good man. He was working at the office late. He wasn't working at the office late. He was working up in some man's orifice late. And you want to greet him. He didn't clean up. You know how much of a mouthful of doodle you got because of this down low, brother? Look, we dress things up and say politically correct terms. We have to have a little shock effect. Because that's what it is. And now your throat is sore next day, and you walk past some dude you don't even know, but you got his E. coli, his germs from his backside in your mouth, and you standing behind him in the line in Walmart, and you don't understand the connection that's between you and him. I'm just making this up. What happened to worrying about pregnancy, unwanted pregnancy? I can get an abortion. I can take a pill. You get these things that prevent HIV after you do something with, so now they're going off even more. And some people don't even want to take medication, but they'll do what they do. Some people don't want to take their diabetic medication, high blood pressure medication, but they'll do things to get high, make it worse. They'll eat the fried foods and high fatty, high calorie stuff, and go to bed and lay down on it and wonder why you have a stroke or heart attack. Wonder why your sugar's off. I only taking that medication. Let's go on out tonight and get some ice cream. And you wonder why. And you wonder why. And this is why on the banner, you may not see it, but she has, the lady in the forefront has a stethoscope around her neck. She's the woman at the clinic, at the health clinic, and she's crying. And that's what she said. They won't be this happy at the clinic next week. You can't make a title too long. But I said it without saying it, because sometimes they come at you by what you put on the banner and in the title. That's why I said Sodom and Gomorrah pales in comparison to America's decadence. And this is all of America. But us, we're leading the pack. And we're supposed to be only but so much of the population, which I think is a lie. We're split up more than anybody else. And people say, oh, I'm not black, I'm Latino. Right? Oh, I'm not black, I'm this. Some people say white. There are people from some of the islands in the Caribbean, Latino islands, that when I worked in the jail and they checked the box, black is the blackest part of this banner, they check off the white box. Well, if you want to identify as white, you can. And that's good for them white folks whose numbers are dwindling in certain districts, and they want to have more representation, more resources. They don't care if that guy is black as ink. It's on the numbers on the book. So we're split up in so many different ways, don't even know it. And worldwide, we are the majority. And the others, they're extreme minority, right? So it doesn't hurt them. Let the black folks kill themselves off. They don't care about that. Party on. Do what you want to do. And this is going to wipe out a whole generation of people, or a great amount. The way they're going at it. And there's so many innocent people. But yes, this lady's at the clinic crying from what she sees. I've been on the bus driving. And because I used to drive the bus, of course. You know how many times I heard conversations? My bus used to go past the clinic. The amount of people that I saw cry or fighting back tears or red eyes after they come back after hearing, we have to come down to the clinic, we have to talk to you. And they get on the phone, on the bus, and the pain and shock and feeling overwhelmed. I experienced this by being within close proximity to these people. Mommy, I'm not making fun now. I'm just telling you what it is so you can hear it, Mommy. Mommy, I ain't gonna lie. I was having sex with Billy, and we did it only 3 times. And we broke up, but I'm HIV positive. What am I gonna do? I'm gonna start college next week. What am I gonna do, Mommy? I'm not a whore. Oh, God. Oh, God. To hear that and to see the innocence of this young lady, and she says, Mommy, I never told you I was messing around with him, and he told me he loved me. Now, I'm not saying all of this is because there wasn't a father, but there was a real father around to fill that void, to make her feel loved. Maybe she wouldn't have been as gullible from this guy, Billy, to lie to her to get what he wants and take from her her virginity. Wrong. Lucky she didn't get pregnant from the guy. the better she did than have this. I heard this with my own ears and seen it with my own eyes. One week it was every single day. I used to pick whoever was crying at the bus stop across from the clinic, right there on the 21 route in Orlando. Whoever knows me from there, you knew I did the 21 for many, many years. Everybody knew me. I was the best driver. I ain't gonna lie. I was the most efficient driver on the 21. They loved it. And it went through certain so-called hoods, and I always drove at night. I had the seniority to go to the lily white, safe neighborhoods in the daytime and be off early. I just loved to be around my people, even when it was disgusting sometimes. And I never had a bad incident. And anybody who knows me from that route and driving in Orlando will tell you, before that I worked at the jail, right? So I'm with the people. How many times have I seen a guy who had a girlfriend, and I saw him with a girlfriend on the bus repeatedly, but he's getting on the bus across the street from the clinic, and he got this girlfriend, and you would hear them on the bus talking amongst themselves how they're engaged now and they're going to be married and all this and this and that, but he gets on the bus across the street from the clinic, and he's dialing his phone, and I'm wondering, he got a girlfriend, what's up with that? You can have a girlfriend, you can have whatever, and get it from somewhere else or get it from the girlfriend. What? My ears perked up like a daggone satellite dish. I'm sorry, this time I was nosy. And you know how sometimes some phones are so loud it's almost like they're on speaker? And because we're driving the bus, we're outside. You know, we're inside the bus and noises and stuff. He sat close to me in the front, and I heard it all. That's just him talking now. I'm thinking he's calling his woman. I'm like, I hope he don't have no bad news for her. Hello, John. Yes. I said, oh, no. John, we have to talk. You know I have never cheated on you. You know that I've been faithful to you. And you know my future wife, she is not like that. John, be fair with me. Be honest with me. His voice is sounding like this now. He wasn't sounding like this when he was with his woman on the bus. So what are you trying to say? You trying to say I gave you something or something? What are you trying to say? Listen, I'm HIV positive, and I did not get it from anyone else but you. So you gotta come clean with me. We have to talk, because this just messed my life up. Well, maybe you had it before. Listen, we've been with each other, messing around off and on from our college days 12 years ago. I kissed that other guy really quick. I told you about that. I don't think I caught it that way. Maybe he did. I don't know. But I heard every kind of combination. I've heard lesbians, which we know with them, the rates are really low. Because it's a little harder to get it from a woman than it is to get from a man's anus, although you can get it. And there have been women who were lesbians who they were switch hitters. One was, and the other one didn't know. And it's hard to one lesbian to give it to another, but it happens. And I've heard those conversations also, to the point where you saw the other person in the street. Maybe they didn't ride the bus. Maybe one part of the couple rode the bus and the other one drove. You know, that's just how it is. And you see them in the street. Oh man, she's all bruised up. They went home and put a hurting on her. Murder, poisoning. Listen, working in the jail, there were a lot of people who found out that they were and tried to kill the person they were with, and they're locked up. But it's not going to hit the news all over the place. Our stuff only when it makes us look bad, but it's so much of it. I'm going to say the N-word, Joe. I'm sorry. If you reported all the decadent, crazy, off-the-chain things that we did, it would be NNN, the Nigger News Network. Because we ain't that. We're proud black people. I hope there's no NIGGs here in the chat room, because you're mad at me then by the way I'm talking. Even though people try to call us that when we're not that. I'm not that. You're not that. We know that. But it would be the Nigger News Network. Nigger. Look, but ends. The Triple N Network. Today in Nigger News down in Houston, Texas, the HIV rates are so high and the Klan is happy. We're doing it to ourselves. You get mad at somebody who calls you a nigga, a white man in a store or a parking lot who jumped in the spot. So what, nigga? We don't care. You get mad at that. But you don't get mad at yourself for exposing yourself to something that can kill you, your woman, or you're a woman, or you well, whoever. You pregnant, still doing stuff. I knew a black woman in Queens, New York, who loved to have sex with multiple men. See, people feel comfortable to talk to me. I know all the dirt. You see on those videos, my eyes start flaring out sometimes because my eyes, if my eyes had no odometer, it would have been over several million miles already of what I see, the traction and the things I've absorbed. This is why I'm so passionate about life. This is why ideas come to me so easy of things to talk about. This is not scripted. I didn't cover any statistics today. And I got a live show to do in 44 minutes. I haven't even made the link for it yet. We'll get off this thing soon. We're going to continue. Welcome in, Clara. Welcome in, Clara. Clara Haynes Moore. But Clara Haynes sounds familiar to me. I don't know. I just know so many names. We got, look. Most of us, we're not aware of the many factors that are coming at us, and we're doing it to ourselves. Erase all this promiscuity and decadence, and we still are in a war, and we're not aware of it. And we're making it easy for the enemy, for the human, physical enemy, and the spiritual enemy. We're making it easy. They're having a break. They put their weapons down. Oh yeah, look at the niggas killing themselves. Oh, we can take a break. Oh yeah, we're in the service, we're in the military, but we don't have to do anything. We didn't fire any shots. They're playing Russian roulette with their lives already, and we're running with it. The diseases are out here. We're on social media, looking at titties and booties and penises and abdominals, and everybody lusting after everybody. And now you got this in your head, and you going out because you can see it. Whatever kink you're into, you can put yourself to sleep, holding the phone with one hand and letting your fingers do the walking, but it's in your head. Let me tell you something. It got so deep for me. Not that I was involved in those things at this point in my life, but that's the only way you're going to come at me. And on a spiritual level, there have been some women that have come to me casually in public. I worked in, driving a bus. And I'm like, this is a damn demon said to me. Oh, bus driver, I'm new in town. I just decided to come down to Orlando for a little bit, just to clear my head, not really going through anything. I went to travel on my own. And you seem to be a very nice young man. I don't usually do this, but I'm staying at the so-and-so hotel, and here's my number. If you want to come by later on, I see the ring on your finger, but we're adults. If maybe you think that you might want to spend a little time with me, give me a call. It has happened so many times. I'm very approachable anyway, but when I looked at her, I'm like, no. She's put together in a way like somebody knew my weaknesses and they're sending this person. Let me tell you something. Real human beings can get taken over to be on a mission to bring you down, and they don't even know it. Be careful who you look. There are people out there who know, there's spirits and entities out there unseen that know what you're doing for the day and will send something out there to intercept you to get you caught up. On that note, I'm going to wrap it down. I'm into this. Look, I can roll for the next 5 hours right now, and we will. On some other shows, but we have another show coming in 40 minutes that I have not created yet. I made the banner, and I see the young lady is texting me, and emailing me, so I just have to let her know that we're going, unless she canceled. If you don't see it up, that means we canceled. I'll put it in the community section of the YouTube channel and on the WhatsApp link. And also, too, if you're on YouTube, go down to the bottom and join the WhatsApp group. Nobody's going to see you. It's just a place where I post the shows that I'm about to do. Or if I miss putting it in there, you won't miss it. It goes right there. because these notifications don't go out on YouTube, and I try to have an alternative way of accomplishing that. Wow, I want to go in even more, but and we will. I'll visit this topic with another title, you'll know, oh, that's the show that he was talking about, right? I'm not going to call it the same thing. People say, oh, I saw that show already, and they didn't. But we have to have these conversations, and I want to do more raw stuff, like on the conference line. I can just say, not to be nasty, not to be disrespectful, but just to be able to talk freely without worrying about censorship. And I can put it up on other platforms that if you missed it, that you could, see it and everything, right? But anyway, let me get going to set this up. Hit the restroom. I got that old man bladder going on. I'm not claiming that. I'm just saying I got to go to the bathroom too. Go a little bite down to eat while I create this other one, and we will be back. Okay? I want you to come back because this is going to be about our sister. I don't know if I can say her name or not, but a YouTube channel is on the banner. You'll see it. And I want you to subscribe to it. Her witchcraft experience in Tanzania. Now, I'm not the witchcraft man. I did that one interview. I did that one show, but it got so many good responses, and she left a comment. And I said, hey, listen, let's talk about it, because I see she's not afraid to talk and share her experiences. So we're going to do it that way. So I'm coming back, take a break, and let's roll. Then after that, I got some runs to do, but I wanted to knock these two out early today. I feel so happy because later on I'll do a third and a fourth, depending on the schedule, maybe just the third or fourth with it, right? So I hope you learned something if you didn't know it. And most of you already know the deal, but I had to go there in that world. We need to have a sense of urgency and blast it out, what's going on, because many of our youth don't know, and we know the urge and desire for sex can be powerful, but right now it's unbridled, it's running crazy, and the demons are jumping in these voids, and that is not the answer. That bit of pleasure is not the answer for the issues that you need to face. You need to meditate, get to that higher power, go within, discipline ourselves, because you know what? If you're 20 years old, sex still gonna be there 40 years from now. But will you be if you're acting inappropriately? Listen, always hit Lancescurv.com, register, hit me up. Contact information is there. I'll talk about anything you want to talk about. Anything. I dare you. Now, if we can't talk about it on YouTube, we're still gonna talk about it. Anyway, see you in a few minutes. Take care, everybody. Much love. We shall return.
Hello, this is Martha. Actually, today I got to meet my friend Lance. Yes, I got to meet my friend Lance. This is my first time meeting him in person, and he's a very kind man, seriously. I do talk with him on phone, on WhatsApp, but I've never got to meet him. But today, it's just extraordinary. He's very, anything you want to know about life, anything you want to know about just him, anything you want to know about life, please. YouTube, Telegram, Instagram, Twitter, all the social media channels, you got to find him there. He's very inspiring. He's very positive. If you want anything positive about life, please subscribe to Lancescurv. And then every day you got to see different videos, different talks, different topics about life. See you.